What's up, y'all? This is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another car video. Women look at the total package of a man. Total package of a man. Because, I just did that podcast today, the butt principle, and then a few days. And the butt meaning, a woman might say, okay, he ain't handsome, but, he got charisma, or but he can make her laugh. And then, I did that video a couple days ago, saying the issue I had with the looks people, because they think it's just the face. They don't be saying nothing else. They don't be talking about how the dude dressing, his personality. In fact, you get those dudes say, oh, personality don't matter, money don't matter. I'm like, what planet y'all on? And, two things, because I thought about that. I said, you know what, I need to hammer that. Because one, that's my whole program anyway. If you look at my books, all the books are about developing, like, holistically, like, all parts of you. Nice guys and players, sexual chemistry, and even meeting attractive women. It's about developing, I gotta get some wipe my glasses better. The whole part of you. That's been my whole thing from the get-go, That's always been my thing, improving your whole self, because that's what women check out. Now, two things. I remember I watched the Maury one time. It was a few years ago. It was funny, right? He had this, had a guy on there. He called himself ugly sexy. He called himself ugly sexy, right? Now, dude was, he was a short, pudgy Hispanic dude, right? I mean, he had pockmarks on his face. But when he came on stage, that dude, he had charisma going. He had the charisma of 10 men. He had the charisma. I mean, he was even clowning the audience. And even Maury a little bit. Smiling. And it's funny, like, when you see those shows like that, usually the women got a mean grill on her face because, of trouble. But even the woman was smiling at his shit. He turned out to be the father, but she was just like, she was smiling at what he was doing, right? And let me see again. Okay. Yeah, she was smiling at what he was doing. But the dude, like I said, he was short, pudgy, had pockmarks on his face. But he had on some thorough ass glasses, like thorough glasses. His hair was cut right. He came out like with a long kind of a trench coat and a nice scarf. I mean, he was head to toe fly. Shoes were fly, everything. And, he just had that personality. Now, somebody would say, well, he shouldn't get any play. How you get this woman pregnant and all that shit, right? That's because women look at the whole thing. Now, second thing, a couple years ago in October of 2017, I did a video. I said, check out a chart of how women rate men. Check out a chart of how women rate men. And I had the chart. I used the chart as the pick the whole thing. I didn't get to see Rom's face. But I had a chart. And this chart had been sent to me by an associate who got it from some woman's blog. I even shout out the woman. I said, if the woman happened to see it, shout herself out, and I'll give her credit. Because I don't know which blog he actually got it from. Or if he did, I must have lost that information. But, and this chart had like a point, face. And, she was rating a particular dude, apparently. He had an 8 face, but then she body, conversation, signs of being a cheap bastard. she rated everything, and that particular podcast is in the description box. The link is in the description box. Understand something about women, and a lot of guys don't get it because, a lot of guys think women check us out the same way we check them out. Now they do in a sense of the physicality, but a lot of guys will just check out the woman's face. And this is something I said, and look, what I'm about to say is something I said in that podcast in 2017. We'll check out the face, we'll check out the body and stuff, but, she could be wearing a burlap sack. We ain't looking at her style, we ain't looking at her shoes. She could be in sweats or something. She got a fat ass or breastises or a pretty face, whatever you like. We'll check that out. Like, we ain't even checking out, like, a lot of men ain't worried about her personality or some shit. That's why a lot of men get burned, because they ain't looking at the other shit or how much money she making. Just say how fine she is. All right? Like, I remember this one time, I worked with this butch lesbian, and there was some young dude on there who was going after her hard. And I'm like, wait a minute, it ain't like, it's obvious she's a butch lesbian, but she had a killer body. I haven't told her that because she was telling me how this dude was going after her and everything, despite her obvious, non-attraction to men. I said, well, you do got a fat ass, though. I mean, no, I said, yeah, if you like men, you wouldn't get no peace. She's like, fuck you, Ron, fuck you. No, well, if you did, you got a fat ass. If you went that way. Oh, man. Oh, man. Nah, me and her were cool, though, man. Me and her were cool. She'll put a bullet in somebody for me if I needed her to. But, look... Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. A lot of guys don't be looking at, don't look beyond all that shit. Just the physical thing. And like I said, that's how a lot of guys get in trouble. She could be masking or something. As long as she got big breasts, he's still going after if that's what he like. But women, they look at every little thing and they weigh everything. Now, for instance, like the face thing. All right, say in a woman's eyes, if you use that mythical scale of 1 to 10, she meet a guy, right? She look at him, man. She look at his face. She's like, eh. His bone structure. She's like, eh. She might give it a 5, right? But then she look at his body. Dude, listen to Rom Wills, and a few other people, C Boogie and Cousin T talk about hitting the gym. So his body's like a 9 to it. So she's like, well, wait a minute. Then she look at his haircut. He got a fly haircut because, he went to the barber and the barber blessed him. Right? She's like, oh, okay, let me rate that joint. She rate that joint like a 9 because, she see a fresh cut. The barber blessed him. Right? Then it's like, all right, he smile. He got a nice grill because dude got to make enough money to keep that dental plan up. He brush and floss every day. So it's like, oh, okay, wait a minute, hold up. Give your teeth a little something, right? And then, a famous quote I always use from Issa Rae, she smells him, he got a nice little cologne on. She's like, oh shit. Issa Rae always she said, I'd never forget she said, shit, nice cologne make a woman rethink a man's attractiveness. So it's like, oh wait. And then he got on some fly clothes. She's like, oh, wait, man, hold up. The face still a 5, though, but she, like, giving high marks to his other stuff. She look up his shoes. It's like, oh, man, they freshly shined. Don't got no scruffs on them, not run over. Socks, all the clothes matching. Even checking out his jewelry, like what kind of watch he got on, all that stuff. See how he walking? And then that's before he opened his mouth. Then he opened his mouth. He's articulate. His voice sound nice to us. She might start getting wet on the spot. She ready to go to the Momo right there. And some dudes will say, but see, a lot of dudes will think, oh, well, you know what? He average looking, he couldn't get her. It's like, dude, women, understand something, man. Let me get deep with y'all. Y'all know I can go way deep, especially people who follow me on my Deep Thought channel, because I'll be dropping some metaphysics on there. Men and women in general think differently. And it's a right brain versus left brain thing. Men are primarily left brain. We got definitely some right brain, and some men might be just as right brain as some women, maybe a little bit more. And you got a lot of creative people like artists and stuff like that who are more right-brained than the average man, right? And then on the other side, women are more right-brained, And then, they looking at stuff a totally different way. See, the left brain is more the communicative, positive, logical side, while the right brain is more emotional. So, and it's actually a larger thing. Now, the left brain, when somebody's looking at something from a logical thing, they look at 1, 2, 3, step by step. It plays a very important part. You're trying to get something done. We not putting the emotion in. It's like 1 + 1 = 1. And that's actually a mistake a lot of men make. They trying to apply that to relationships. It don't work. Relationships are in the right brain realm. That's why a lot of true players, they are more intuitive in how they approach a woman. They're more big picture. And, and see, the right brain looks at every single thing. It looks at everything. Don't look at the 1, 2, 3. It might look at the weather. It might smell something. It's looking at the bigger picture. It's more of a, and that you can even apply that to different racial groups. All right. Now, as a result of that, they not just looking at the face. I'll keep it there. I ain't gonna go too deep on a car video. If I go deeper, that's a paid video. When I gotta be, y'all get Romeo here or Car Rom, but that Professor Rom or Professor Romulo, that's my full name. That's something different. But in a right brain way, women gonna look at the entire package and then weigh everything. They're gonna weigh everything. They're gonna be like, okay, well, his face ain't all that, but he got all these other things. They can live with the face. Only way, or say, or you know what, let's turn that around. Say the dude got like a 9 or 10 in the face, but his body is like either too overweight or too slim, no muscles on it. So they might drop that body down to a 2. So they like, hold up. Oh yeah, when they looking at shit, they looking at that print too. So they might check out that print. It's like, oh, it's non-existent or something. It don't look there, and they don't think you're a grower. So anyway, you see a guy, he got a 9 face, but then no body build or something. Like, it's kind of funny when those incels talk about getting surgery and everything. That don't mean anything if your body ain't right, and then you can't dress, and then oh, and I ain't even put it in the conversation part. Like, you actually talk, because that might be the most important thing. You still gotta connect. So that dude got a like 9 face, but everything else is like everything else is like 2 and under. Shit, the woman ain't gonna get wet or anything. In fact, a lot of women do say that about a man. They'll say he's attractive, which means they think he look good, but they ain't turned on sexually. Because that's how they look. They looking at the whole picture. He can't dress or something. Now, if a man got some stuff, depending on what he got, they might work with. Now, like if a man got a 9 face and 9 body, teeth and all that look right, but he ain't got much else, like he don't dress well, then they'll go in and try to like buy clothes for him and stuff. They'll try to get him to with that holistic thing. But see, they look at the entire package. They listening to what's coming out your mouth, because there's been plenty of women who said they met a guy, they say he looked good till he opened his mouth. They looking at everything. And even with the money thing, it's not even so much, even if they ain't really looking for the bag, as many women tend to do. And even then, if you got the bag, most women looking for something else physical with the man. So say you don't have that, but then, they gonna be like the different things or some other stuff. And plus, every single woman got at least one thing that's non-negotiable. Like, it gotta be there. Like, you get some women, honestly, straight up, they be like, nah, he still gotta be packing. They don't give a fuck what else he got going for him. Or they still, like, I know this youngin, he still gotta dress well. I've known several youngins like that. I even told some women on my women's channel, don't get too caught up in that, but the reality is some women going to still take that into consideration. Most women, depends. And then, that chart I shared a couple years ago, that was just one thing. Sometimes women, they're going to get into whether, you praying 5 times a day to Allah, or, you love your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, or you got an altar to Shanghai. They looking at a lot of things, how much you in their culture, all that. And then you start throwing in class. What's your class? Because people act like these women just get with the same guys, but then the women going, depending on where you at, the women might be like, oh, well, where you go to school, where you work. They trying to find out your education and everything. And shit. And that's all that before they really get into the money. They want to find your educational level, because if you look at women, regardless of race, you know, you got a whole lot of educated women complaining. This is going across races, and that's because across all races, you have more women getting college degrees than men. And a lot of women, by nature, who always look to trade up, hypergamy, shit, they got that degree from someplace. That's the first question they're going to ask. They're going, where you go to school? They might think you everything else, but it's like, oh, wait. This dude don't go to school somewhere. I can't mess with him. Real talk. They looking at all that shit. Meanwhile, as men, shit, just long as she got a fat ass. We're not as picky about all that other shit. But they are. They look at all that shit. All of it. Trust me. All you gotta do is listen to them talk. There's like little things that we ain't even on our mind. That's just their nature. So that's why I say, you know, that's always been my program. You got to develop as much as your program as possible, as much as your package is possible. It got to be a total thing, holistic. You shoot mind, body, spirit, everything, because they look at all of that. You know, us, we just looking at that nice body and pretty face. And like I said, that's why a lot of men get burned, because they ain't looking at the other shit. And, you know, you get some wiser men, they'll start looking at the other shit. But that's a small percentage. Who look at the other shit. But most men, they just looking at the other thing. And it's like, man, you got to look at every little thing, every tiny thing. But like I said, women do it naturally. Some men, after a while, they got burnt enough, or they've been schooled by the right player. Know to look at that little things in a woman. So, but yeah, women look at the total package. Women check out the total package. So definitely check out the video I did. Like, you can see the chart. It's right there. Hell, even feet size. You know, I was at this retreat back in September. I think I mentioned it. And they were talking about this one man, why he was like select. Why they called him a Mr. Good Boy. He was all quiet and stuff. He wasn't even dressed fly, but he was tall with big hands and big feet. The women said it. Like, they were right there to our faces. They put that on him. I was like, shit. Damn. So that's how deep it can get, y'all. That's how deep. And like a lot of guys, stop talking about, oh, I'm ugly or something. Okay, fine. Work on your other shit. Make sure your hair cut tight. Make sure your teeth are right. Make sure everything else. Shit. Get that good smelling cologne or something. Because if you take a real look at many of the players, they ain't fashion models. Like the real players. They ain't fashion models or something. You know, they ain't genetically perfect. They might shoot. I was telling people in my private group about this one cat. And I said, shoot, that dude never had a fly haircut, never had a cut body. Always had a pudge since I know him since he was little, but women went crazy over him. Like, stalked his ass and shit. You know? So, just understanding. But they were really looking at his package. So, it was like, yeah, it's always a total thing. And you know, here's the thing. You could check off, this how deep it is. You can check off a lot of stuff, which is a lot of guys do. You get some guys who will check off a lot of stuff on that list, but then still get rejected because it might be that one thing a woman don't like. And it's very rarely the looks. It's like a personality thing or something. It could be something. It's something to her, because every single woman just they got a red flag. They got green flags, but every single one got a red flag. So anyway, y'all have a good weekend, and really take heed of what I'm saying, man. Take heed of what I'm saying. Now, I know like some people like to do videos off of what talk about seriously. Go out here. You can see it. You can see it. You talk to find some women. Find some women. You know what? To find some women who you think gonna be totally honest with you, and they'll tell you. They'll tell you. In fact, a lot of women hit me up privately. They say, "Damn, Ron, how you know all this shit?" I found the right women to listen to, because it's right there, man. It's right there. You know, if you ain't got all that or whatever, short, height, whatever, get what you can. Shit, one of the most cold-blooded, biggest players I know was 5 feet, but he 5 foot tall. But he had some other shit going on for him. So, you know, just whatever you got, work on. Whatever you don't have, don't worry about it. Just work on developing your best self, best version. That's it. That's all I talk about. I don't give y'all no fake shit. You know, everybody. Because if you develop your best self, every single person who developed their best self, you know what? You might go in a room of 100 women, but your best self only draw 5 of them. No, that's still a lot. Think about it. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Y'all have a good weekend. Peace and blessings.